Many people have never experienced coaching before. I'm looking to change that. So, part of my Love Over Fear community page, which you can find a link for in my bio, allows people a chance to find out when I'm doing some free live coaching where I come on for 30 minutes and I coach people on whatever they want coaching on. I think that so many of the things we're dealing with, we're one, not dealing with alone. Many people are dealing with very similar things that have different details. And if we were to get the coaching support that makes a difference, we don't have to be stuck with these things. So if you're curious about experiencing coaching, check out my community page with the link in my bio. We just had a session. It was awesome. There's going to be more and more of that. So I wanted to come in here and let you guys know about that and answer some questions. So throw your questions in the question box or on the comments and let's do it. I'll be here for about 10 minutes. Who wants to share? What you want to know? As I'm waiting for someone to pop in the question box, I often talk about the difference between therapy and coaching. It's beautiful that more people are doing therapy now. It's really moved. That was like this taboo thing, maybe a decade ago, and now it's super common. But coaching hasn't quite shifted to that direction yet. And the way I describe the difference between coaching and therapy is like what you should do when you feel like you can't get your head above water and you're struggling to deal with the challenges of life and you need someone to listen attentively to you. Therapy is the way to go. Coaching's like, okay, I'm kind of figuring out how to tread water and get my head above, I can catch some breaths. Now I want to learn how to swim. Now I want to learn how to actually transform these things in my life. I know how to feel them now. Now I want to transform them. That's how I would describe that. All right, let's go into the questions. Wondering if it's okay to date someone based on potential, like if they can't read. I swear I don't understand that if they can't read example. I apologize for laughing, but I just don't get that part. Wondering if it's okay to date someone based on potential. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely okay to date someone based on potential in the idea that we all, if we're with someone we care about and love, we believe that we could have something special together. We believe the relationship has potential. Where the whole dating with potential gets risky and ineffective is where we ignore what's actually happening in front of us. Where we kind of go, wow, they do like 3 things that I actually loathe and are brutal to me, but they've got potential. That's where it's kind of shady. So heck yeah, if you see potential in someone, you believe in each other, yeah, go for it. Just don't let that blind you to what's happening right in front of you. That'd be my first tip there. How do you become attracted to someone who's right for you? How do you become attracted to someone who's right for you? Do you mean how do you attract someone who's right for you? I don't quite understand that question. Maybe ask that one again. How do you become attracted to someone who's right for you? Do you mean like you like someone or someone is like right, like they're a good partner, but you're not attracted to them? Maybe specify that question a bit. What if you feel like you're never going to be ready to date? By the way, I noticed when I watch these back, when I read your questions, it looks like I'm cross-eyed. I was laughing at that in the last video. Sandy asks, what if you feel like you're never going to be ready to date after a long marriage ended? My first answer always goes, sign up for my program, learn about coaching. If it's not with me, go with somebody else. But what there is, if you're not ready to date after a long marriage, it's just that there's some things from the past that haven't completed for you. And so it's definitely possible. Of course it's possible. But it's going to take some deep work for you to be able to separate what happened from who you're committed to being now. And so if you feel like you're never going to be ready to date, I invite you to look more so at kind of what you're waiting for. What area or solution are you hoping to come to that's going to be like, okay, now I'm ready. What does the actual line look like? A lot of this stuff, when we keep it vague, it's difficult to be able to actually create results because we're speaking too vaguely. So that'll be my invitation there. Next person asks, I really want to know, Simon, how should I approach my partner who's really rational to open up and tell me how he really feels? How should I approach my partner who is really rational to open up and tell me how he really feels? Okay, so he is rational and you want him to open up. Part of it is this kind of like compassion where your idea of open might be like his idea of the Grand Canyon or her idea of the Grand Canyon. Like it's huge. And so part of this, me and my wife, like I'm a relationship coach. I talk about this stuff all the time. My wife's not a relationship coach. And so sometimes we get into conversations where I'm like hoping that she would share more. This is more in the past. We've kind of moved past that now. But there is the point where you want to recognize what is the next growth piece for them. And what they might have recently shared, even if it's just a sentence that lets you in a little bit more, you want to celebrate that. You want to really give a lot of love to that and reward it and be grateful for it. And that's going to pick up. That's going to build momentum. But if you're expecting this person to like just blast themselves open, it's going to be very difficult. And you'll likely be disappointed over and over again with that. So see if you can make it to like the minimal amount of openness and play with that a little bit. Sorry, I'm turning on my AC because it's hot in here. Okay, so let me keep scrolling here. Thank you for that question. Just so you guys know, it's easier to see the questions if you put them in the question box. That way I can see them rather than scrolling through there. How do you move on from a relationship that ended 3 years ago, yet every girl you see is just not her? Oh, I totally get that one. That's one of the first things that got me into personal development was I was absolutely hung up on my ex. Well, here's the thing. You're not hung up on your ex. You're hung up on the idea of what could be. And that is torture. I can totally relate to that. I'm sure many people listening can. That is absolutely torture. And so what you're going to want to differentiate is what are you thinking could have happened? See if you can actually journal about this. Write it out. What do I think could have happened if only? What am I holding on to? Because you comparing this person to these other women that you meet, it's just going to be painful and they're not going to be them, and nor should they be them. Because here's the other thing. You broke up for a reason. So it's not like you want to go back and have the exact same thing again. You broke up for a reason. So I think first journal about what you think should have, could have been. Start to get that out in the open. Because right now it just kind of probably, again, feels vague. There's something really powerful, you guys, this is for almost everybody listening, of getting really clear about what your concerns are and what your thoughts are. But often we speak in such generalities that it gives the thing more power. So if I'm like, I feel like nobody loves me. I feel like I'm unlovable. And I go as a coach, okay, what happened? Well, what happened was my boss told me to do a better job on the next project. Okay, does that really piss you off? It's like, well, no, that doesn't. But the feeling of unlovable is like gargantuan. It's brutal. So see if you can start by writing that out a little bit. That'd be my invitation. Awesome. I think someone re-asked their question. How do you deviate from the attraction to people who, let's say, are good looking but are emotionally available and begin to attract someone who has more valuable traits? Can you have both? Hell yeah, you can have both. Hell yeah. I'd be choked if my wife was like, you're so emotionally available, but you're not that attractive. That would hurt. That would suck. So absolutely you can. But what you want to focus on, obviously looks, we all see looks first. That's pretty common that you're going to see looks first. I would start to let that be part of your guide. Be with someone you're attracted to. And also start to put bigger attention, start to put more attention on some of those traits you're talking about. You're attracted to someone. Okay, get curious about that emotional intelligence. Get curious about that communication style. That would be my place to look. But don't feel like you gotta like sell one for the other. I think that's probably the first thing to give yourself permission for, is to let go of this idea that you can't have both. Let yourself have both. Let yourself have it all. I'm fully all for that. I don't believe in sacrificial settling. I think it's unnecessary and not required. I was seeing your other question, T Jackson. Like, he can't read and you're educated and he can go back to school. Yeah, of course. I mean, we're all going to grow. This is one of the myths that we have in relationships, this idea that like, okay, I found them and now we're just going to like be together and it's going to work. Maybe, but you're also going to evolve. You're both going to change. You're going to learn different things. You're going to grow in different ways. How you grow together is what matters. You know, you talk about this person going back to school. Maybe that's part of the evolution of your relationship. You support them in that and they support you in something else. That's the beautiful thing about relationships being the beginning and not the end. This whole ball and chain idea. It's like, no, this is an opportunity where this person is going to help you see parts of yourself that you cannot see alone. It's one of the most beautiful things about relationships. And how that grows and evolves. Like I think about my wife and I and the different ways that we've evolved. That wouldn't be possible without each other. And it's so rewarding. It's so extraordinary. It's so fulfilling. And this is why I do this work. I want more and more people to have that kind of fulfillment in their life. But so much of our limiting beliefs and our past getting in the way. So I'm so glad you guys are participating and asking these questions. Next one, avoidant, anxious relationship. Yeah, lots of those going on. When is it time to walk away? Well, that's a great question. I would get really clear about what your non-negotiables are. You know, of course, we're going to have slip-ups. We're going to have things that, you know, we're not proud of in relationships. And where is it, okay, we can work on that, becomes we can't work on that. I'm not willing to work on that. I would invite you to get clear about that for you. Where is it for you? Now, notice you guys, when I give this kind of coaching, I'm never going to tell you, oh, when they do this, that's the end. Because then that would be projecting my own experience onto you. And your experience is unique. So most of my coaching and most of my content is about helping all of you look for yourself. That's going to be way more valuable than me or any stupid guru on Instagram telling you, this is the moment. I saw someone last week. Oh my God. They were like, if you didn't know he was the one, as soon as you saw him, then he's not the one. I was like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is ridiculous. It's like, what is that supposed to do? You got to walk around and that's the one. Boom, it hit me. It's no, relationships are created. They evolve. So yeah, good luck with all the stuff you hear all the time. All right, let's see. Let me scroll. Dude asked me to be his girlfriend, but then blocked me after I told him I don't want to have sex until I'm ready. And we've been talking for a year. Okay, I don't hear a question there. And thank you for sharing. I'll do one more because I got a coaching call coming up in 2 minutes. So one more. Scrolling. I think I missed a couple. The question box is the best place to ask these, by the way, you guys. Okay, great. I see one. Hello, I'm seeing a person who has 4 kids with 3 women. It's all clean and he's very open. He's very kind to me and we're quite compatible, but he has such little time for me. It's been hurting me and I don't see the situation changing anytime soon. Should I go before I get too involved? I mean, I would, if you have to go, do so after having a conversation about this where you can be clear about the kind of time you're looking for. And if that's something you guys can build towards. You know, I don't believe in ultimatums. I don't believe in you going, okay, I need this or else. Maybe go like, what kind of time could we stretch to? Is there a degree of connection that we could build upon? I would love to be part of that. Would you be open to that? Have that kind of conversation without blame, without, you know, this kind of like righteous expectation. Get curious about what he would be open for and then see if that's a match for you. Thank you guys so much for the questions. I'll be doing this more and more. Check out my community page if you want to experience some live coaching. Apply for a discovery call if you want to find out about my programs. You guys are awesome because you care about love and you're out to grow. That's freaking awesome. See you soon.